Here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wherever you are in the world, I am Mason. And today we are analyzing some of our viewers' games. I asked some of the viewers and fellow chess lovers to send me their games, and we're going to look at them, give our comments. I mean, it's not GTE, it's not like a guess the ELO session where I'm coming to look at bad games or something like that. These guys are quite good. And most of the games I was sent are like 2000, 2100, you know. So that's like 1900, 1800, 1700 rating level. So that's fine. Okay. Had some spicy food, had to do that. And now we can get on with the analysis. So as you can see, I'm already on the page. And the first game we are looking at is Empire versus Amine Abdallah or Anime Abdullah. Someone just sent another game. Give me a second. Let me add this game as well, and we will get to the stuff. So we're just going to look at the games. Make comments as in what can you improve on, what do you need to know, so on and so forth. Nothing over the top. Okay, so this is, like we said, Amine Abdallah versus EA Pire, and EA Pire is the one I know, so we're going to flip the board to his section. Okay, hey Emmanuel Ashan, good to see you. Some games are now coming. Okay, I'll pick those games later. So D4, Knight F6, C4. Okay, so already we are going for some King's Indian kind of positions here. I mean, you can still transpose into a Queen's Gambit with E6 and then D5. I mean, that could always happen. I don't know if you can transpose into a Slav from here. This could also even transpose into like a Catalan kind of position. So, but most often when I see this, I think about knight here and like King's Indians. Because C5, interesting. Immediately striking on the board. Now, this is something that you normally do, but I think at this point in time it's ill-advised. The whole point is that you attack central pawns with flank pawns, right? The central pawns are usually like the E pawn and then the D pawn. So whenever your opponent has a very strong pawn center, one of the things you want to do is that you want to try and chip away at your opponent's center by attacking with the flank pawns. But I think here it might be ill-advised. I could be wrong. I'm looking at, for example, like the Scandinavian, where I think after this. This, I think, knight, then here you would want to play this before you play c5. Unless of course I don't remember my lines, it has something to do with that. You have to play e6 to prevent this push from coming in, so that when you push and your opponent takes, you can also capture back with the bishop. So I'm fully aware of this idea. It just seems like he plays it quite fast here. It could be just right. Of course, I don't really know the full theory here. What I was expecting was e6. Actually, e6 is not even necessary here. G5, knight here, and then this. And then we are going for some King's Indian defense type of lines. So that's sort of what I was expecting, but that's not what we got. Oh, okay. But it's interesting. You give your opponent a lot of room in the center. Sorry, not a lot of room. You give your opponent a chance to have a very annoying pawn here in the center. Maybe you can deal with it, but I mean, oh yeah, and if you are watching live right now, welcome. But you are 9 seconds behind. Okay, even if you try and fast forward, you are 9 seconds behind. So just bear with me if I don't reply your message instantly. I might have seen it instantly, but you hear it 9 seconds later. Okay. So here we have a6. Okay, fine move, preventing the knight from ever coming in further. We are looking at this position beginning to look like sort of like a Benoni, right? Or Benko, sorry, Benko Benoni structure kind of. I think this is Benko. No, this is Benoni. Then when the gambits happen, then we have the Benko. So that's what it's beginning to look like. And in those structures, I think you want this. And in some cases, you can play f4. I usually like playing f4, but f4 is ill-advised, so you wouldn't want to go for f4. And just so you can see that I'm not just going through the game, I am also making reference to other positions. That is sometimes how you can improve upon your understanding of chess. Don't just look at the position objectively, look at the other plans that could take place, compare it with other openings. It helps improve you. And that's how you understand positions. Maybe the opening you are playing has one kind of position, so it's very difficult for you to relate to other other position on the chessboard. But as you watch other games, you realize that, oh wait, this position resembles something you've seen before, and that's how you can improve. Even with openings, right? I wouldn't say pick a fully new opening off the bat. Like, let's say you've been learning the Italian. Study other openings that follow the same sequence of the Italian. For example, like the Ruy Lopez or the Vienna, I think, right? They follow the same principles of the opening you already know, which makes it easier for you to adjust and then to move on to something else. And by increasing your knowledge of openings and positions, you can now shift on to other openings. So I play, for example, the Collie, I play the London, I play the Collie Zukertort, and I play the Tory, and then I think the Trompowsky. They all have similar ideas, right? And that's how you can improve upon your opening understanding. Okay, too much out there. So yeah, like we said, striking the center is very much common. This game still begins to look like King's Indian defense. For example, if you get this pawn here, it still looks like a King's Indian defense. And that's what we actually got in the game. Interesting, yeah. So this is a classical King's Indian defense type of position. And this is the interesting thing about the King's Indian for white. Most often, the furthest push pawn tells you which direction you should attack. So most people expect that white attacks on the king side, and then on the queen side, and then black attacks on the king side. But actually, white can fully move to attack on the king side as well. That's the interesting thing about it. The position is quite interesting. I think you play b4, you transpose your knight here, possibly sacrifice your rook on the square somewhere. I mean, that's the King's Indian defense. I've forgotten the lines associated with it. So h3, prophylaxis. You might not always want to play prophylaxis, to be frank, but yeah, prophylaxis is also good. It's not bad, it's good. Yeah, and now we're in a King's Indian defense position, which already lets us know that this bishop is badly placed, because normally you want to place your bishop here on e2. Why e2? Because that is where your bishop has the most prospects of creating problems. When your opponent has a fianchetto structure like this, you want to go h4, h5, and try to weaken the structure. So the bishop here helps in that kind of idea here. Of course, I'm not saying the bishop is completely useless. Of course, if there's f4 with a tree, like if there's a potential of ever getting rid of this pawn for your bishop to have activity, then your bishop is fine here. But in the short term, this bishop doesn't look like it's going to be doing anything where it is, which is why I'm saying that mostly you play on e2, and that's theory. Castles kingside, bishop to g5, and here you can easily play h6. Mostly play h6, king h2, normal stuff. He decides to get rid of the pawn, which is fine. I don't say anything scary now, so here b4, right, is also fine. But anyways, bishop, and finally he decides to break in on the queen side. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we have rook to e1, knight to a6. Very nice. Knight to a6, I think, was preempting this, and then getting his knight to a very nice square here, putting pressure on the central squares. Okay, he decides to take. Why didn't he lock the position? Because I'm looking at both sides, okay, but of course mostly black is where my concern is. Oh, okay, what am I saying? He just loses the knight. What was I thinking about? Okay, so takes, and he decides to go for this. Oh, okay, I don't like what white is doing. White has a completely useless bishop. It's going to be very hard to make this bishop active. But rather than trying to fix his mistakes or putting pressure on black, white has given black a clear area of attack, which is the queen side. And I feel like black is better equipped to attack the queen side as compared to white. For example, in classic King's Indian fashion, you can play knight here, go f4, takes, you have a bishop here targeting the queen side. Of course, you might not want to do that because you activate your opponent's bishop. That's one of the problems. And there's also for example, trying to get this pawn out again so that you can place your you can activate your bishop here, and the queen side is fully in your control or under your control. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. So queen to c8, bishop there. Classic. This is an idea I always play. It takes away your opponent's sting, okay, with the fianchettoed bishop here. So it's a very nice plan that you can go for here by white. I'd have shown you a line where this is a very nice plan, but we'll do that another time. Okay, so he goes knight back. I think he's planning to push, or he's bringing his knight there so that... Okay, I was completely expecting this. I was thinking he was really planning this. So then why does the knight come in here? Because I feel like if the knight could come in here and this move is preempted, I think you would like it this way. Because knight here can come in this way as well, which is a very nice square. Anyways, king to g6. Finally, we get the trade. What? He didn't actually want the trade. I see. Oh, but it's a one move threat. You should be careful about one move threat, unless of course there's an underlying factor I don't see. The immediate thing I say about this move is that you want to... I mean, if you then wanted to threaten this, then the move is this, right? I think this is the move, and the check here has no effect on you. That could have just won you a pawn, or there was something you were scared of. If you're in the chat, just let me know if there was something you were scared of here, because all I see here is just an attempt to like open a discovered attack, and I don't see how else your opponent creates a problem. Like, I mean, after this, then what am I missing? It's a weakness, but color square theory, right? You don't have a dark squared bishop to attack these weaknesses. So one thing that advanced players do is that whenever they lose a bishop, so let's say I have a light square bishop, I lost my dark square bishop, what they do in that position is that they would most likely put all their pawns on dark squares to compensate for the loss of your dark square bishop. Your dark square bishop patrols your dark squares, right? So when you lose that bishop, it becomes very difficult to control the dark square. So since you have a light square bishop, you put your pawns on the opposite color, and it helps you deal with the loss of the black bishop. If you in turn keep your pawns on the same color as your bishop, as you can see here, it inhibits your bishop quite sincerely. He can take the rook with check before taking the bishop. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So I missed that completely. Yeah, check there. Okay. That's good. That's good. I'm not looking deeply. Yeah, so that's why. That is very much why. So how about just playing, for example, knight here? Because if you win this pawn, I think that makes a lot of progress for you. And the same thing now, if takes here, I don't think you're in any danger because knight here doesn't really amount to anything. So that could also have been another option. But I didn't like his opponent's response to this move, like playing rook here. I didn't like his opponent's response to this move. He literally made his he made his rook very bad. And I mean, to sacrifice, like let's just say he couldn't defend the pawn. To sacrifice your the activity of your rook just to defend the pawn, I don't think that. I mean, even in endgames, when your opponent is sometimes a pawn up, you sacrifice pawns to activate your pieces. So to deactivate this rook when you could have just pushed the pawn, I don't see why. Again, maybe I might be missing some tactics here. I don't think I am. But I think in this position, let me turn on the engine. I think in this position, it's even, or yeah, it's even until it's sort of even, or black is slightly better. White is slightly better, but on rook here, then black just feels okay. On rook here, black should feel okay. Engine, support me. Support me for the first time in your life. Support me for the first time in your life. The engine doesn't want to support me. Okay, it's taking too long to analyze this simple position, which is interesting. Yeah, so I didn't really like that move by white. Mind you, I didn't take a look at the games. When you sent the games, I didn't take a look at them. I'm looking at them blind. Okay, so he finally gets this, puts pressure. Knight can also add into the pressure. Okay, attacks the rook since he's lost the defender. King steps in. Okay, some of these moves. Okay. Okay, so you traded your bishop for the knight. Is that really a good idea? Because this knight is a problem for you. I don't think this trade was good. Yeah, because is there a way to add pressure in this position? F3 G6. F3 G6. Wait, here? Is it here? F3 G6. Where could F3 G6 be? Here? Takes. I don't know. I don't understand F3 G6. But anyways, let's keep going. Yeah, at this point I think black is completely fine. But one thing I'm liking about black's play so far is his maneuvering. Right? He knows where he wants to put his pieces. I'm a little bit against some of the positions he puts his pieces in, but so let's look at this. He started putting pressure here. Yeah, exactly here. So knight here, queen here. So he has two defenders. I was thinking maybe you want to go like knight here. Of course your opponent comes in here, but I was looking at the fact that you tie down your opponent to the defense of the pieces and then you try something else like this or something. I don't think this works, but anyways, it's just an attempt. Anyways, everything he's doing is fine. Okay, I think it's just fine. So here, takes, and then here. So he managed to win the pawn by distracting the queen. Very nice. So removal of the defender. So now he's a pawn up, and yeah, counter attack, attacking with the counter. Here, knight jumps in, remaneuver, attack. I just love what black is doing here. Moving the knight leaves the pawn hanging. Yeah. Check here, takes. Wait, what? Oh, he was under time pressure. Okay, so he sacrificed. I don't see. Yeah, he sacrificed. What? This game is going crazy now. White won on time. Okay, so we'll just say everything here is negligible. We'll just say everything here is negligible. From the knight sacrifice, everything here is negligible. Yeah, I know I am missing some things, which is very true. Don't worry about it. So here, this is where everything comes in play. No, not here. So here. Queen comes in to defend. I mean, let's go. Wait, everything is defended here. Queen comes back. Rook comes in. Rook here isn't doing anything. Couldn't you have just attacked the rook? Oh, okay, no. Attacking the rook invites this. Okay, that's fine. So here, then the queen left there. So he played this. I'm guessing he was preempting like a knight move and then attacking here, which is why he played that. And now he realizes that he's losing the knight, so he decides that he will defend with his queen. But this move, I don't think this move does a good job of defending. I think they're still losing this regardless. The problem is he got too excited about his own attack, right? I think he was too excited about his own attack that he decided to play this move, and that's what gave EA Power the ability to play this move in particular. Yeah. So for example, here black should have kept his queen where it was. Black should have tried to keep his queen where it was, and then try to add pieces to the defense. I do understand, I think, where his fears are coming from, but it's fine. Yeah, so that's a very nice one. So a few things to look at here. Again, I'm not so sure about this. Let me just confirm with the engine. I think c5 is a bit too rushed. Yeah, c5. I think c5 is a bit too rushed. So Eapa, I don't know how exactly you want me to pronounce your name, or Ipa, I really don't know. Yeah, so I think c5 here is a bit too rushed. It gives your opponent very good control of the center. Is that really? No, that's not how I want to state it. It suffocates your position and gives your opponent very good chances to disturb your development in the early stages of the game. So mostly you want to play c5 after you've played e6. That's usually how you want to do it. You want to play c5 after you've played e6. Other than that, yeah, this is a little bit slow. The engine is recommending some Sicilian lines here. Your game is kind of becoming a Sicilian, but yeah, this is how I put it. This shows black's understanding of the fact that this position resembles a King's Indian. So you can see that his moves later on resembled King's Indian, which shows that he understands the position. But some of the moves I felt were a little bit questionable. This is fine. It makes sense why he moved the queen. I mean, he moved the queen not necessarily because he was getting out of the pin, but it was because he was preparing to break in on the queen side, which makes sense. Sometimes the question you want to ask your opponent is, what do you want to do with your bishop? Like, really, what do you want to do with your bishop? And I think if you get this with your queen, the possibilities are also very good. I don't think there's anything bad with this. So I don't know. I'm not against your idea, like going for the queen side. I'm not against it. I actually quite like it. And here I thought you should have played this first. Play this move first, force your opponent's bishop back, and then you can get this square that you were looking for. So there's a move order thing. You had the right plan, but the move order. So move order has to do with the step-by-step process in which you are going to do something, right? You have a plan to get something somewhere. There are some things you have to do before you get there, and how you choose to do it is where the problem is. I wish I had examples to show you, but I don't have examples to show you right here. But a perfect example here is this, right? It's either he was trying to push here or he was trying to push here. But the moment you play knight here, your plan is clear. Your plan is clear to your opponent, and he can instantly stop it with the move he played here, and you have no way of opening this up and then putting your knight there. So what you do is you play the pawn push first, forcing the bishop to another square, and then you can finally come in here. If there's the square you are looking for, you can actually come in here. I'm sure you saw this in your analysis. You're a very strong player, so I'm sure you saw this in your analysis. But yeah, that's what you could have also gone for. So yeah, and the next thing was this one was a flaw on the opponent's side of things, in the sense that like I was saying, you want to keep your pawns on dark squares if you lack a dark square bishop. But of course, I think you were at a point outplaying your opponent, and time pressure caught on, and then yeah, that was it. Next game, Thelma Queen versus Gajamada. I'm guessing Thelma Queen is female. I'm sorry. I used to play what's it called? JRPGs. I used to play JRPGs online, and there are things called traps, right? In JRPGs, there are things called traps. Traps are guys who are looking female or pretending to be female. And I had lots of guys who were pretending to be females who were my friends, and I didn't know they were traps. So I'm kind of scared, and I assume that even if you're having a female name, you could be you can scratch that. Anyways, before someone clips this, Thelma is playing black against Gaja. I think it's Gahamada. Yeah, so e4, e5, nice. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f3, castles kingside, bishop c5, knight c3, castles kingside, d3, d6. So we have a symmetrical position here. So when we say symmetrical position, it's like a mirror image. If you were to draw a line here, you would literally see a mirror image. Everything reflects in the exact same position. So this is a symmetrical position. How do you break symmetry? By playing something that is not symmetrical, or sometimes by forcing a move into the position, trying to force an imbalance, right? An imbalance is basically a difference in the chess position. So whenever there are differences in the chess position, we call those things imbalances. So for example, an imbalance, let's say you could make here, is to play this. And if this trade happens, now there's an imbalance. You have doubled pawns and open file here. If you kind of understand that. Yeah, so you could go for, this is actually a plan I like to do. I played against my first ever 1500 I played in an OTB tournament. I beat him by using this strategy. I developed my pieces in such a way that when this trade finally happens, I have like 1, 2, 3 pieces attacking this square, which eventually I ended up winning. I think that was against Paul Senyega. Yeah, so if you want to break symmetry, that's what you do. You just create a difference in the position. Either you trade off pieces or something. Just try and change off the pieces. So h6 is fine, bishop back, and then bishop to e6, knight d5. You should be very careful here, because what that means is that you're going to have a very bad position here. I think there's a yeah, you can play bishop takes. How do you use doubled pawns to your advantage? Well, for example, in the example that I gave here, you can use them here to gain control over the center. So let's just make a random move here, right? You can use them to gain control over the center. So here you've taken away one of your opponent's central pawns, and so that makes your center even stronger. And if you look at this position looks nice. Don't worry, I'm ignoring so many things, like the bishop can take here, and I'm ignoring all of those things. But that's one of those things. You can use it to gain central control. You can also use it to inhibit your opponent's movement. So now this knight can never come in here. Mostly when you are playing these kind of positions and you want to inhibit this knight from ever stepping into these squares, you have to play c6. But by playing this move, by allowing this to happen, you've prevented your opponent from coming here. So that is basically it. But the real problem with the double pawns is that eventually they are going to become weaknesses. At this point in the game, they are not really a weakness, but they can become a weakness. So again, you can use them to gain control over squares. You can also use them to inhibit your opponent from getting to certain squares. So I think in the English, if I'm right, there's in the English, I don't remember how the English is played, please forgive me. I think this is how I play against the English. I think that in the English, yeah, there's something like this. And you take this way. This helps you gain control over the center. I think in some positions, I'm making random moves here, but in some positions, you can try and get this to help you gain central control and also to inhibit your opponent's pieces. So for example, I think the knight can no longer come to these two squares. That's mostly how I see it. Right, but they're not really weaknesses. They also open files for attacks, so many things. Yeah, so that is, I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, let me know. Yeah, but that's basically that's how you can use them to your advantage. Taking note of the fact that if you have a double pawn, it can prevent your opponent from getting to certain key squares, fine. And that if you have the double pawn, it can support a pawn push. That is also fine. So that is basically what you look at when you're looking at double pawns. Or that's what basically I look at when I'm looking at double pawns. Oh, sorry, right here. Okay, so he decides to go for the trade here. You get it, nice. Yeah. Okay, so he decides to go for the bishop trade. I like this trade simply because this knight is too strong. I mentioned during the tertiary, the colleges games that you not all trades are equal, right? This knight is far better than this bishop. This knight is far better than this bishop. Normally you would say this is the good bishop and this is the bad bishop, but since this bishop is outside of the pawn chain, it's not really a bad bishop. So trading your sort of bad bishop for your opponent's very active knight is a very nice idea. And yeah, of course they would have to play like this. The problem you are facing here is the fact that you are facing the likeliness of having a very weak king side. There's a way to stop this, if I can remember. There's a way to deal with this. Let's go back. Bishop. Yeah, it goes for g4. I was thinking about g4, but g4 is very uncomfortable. I mean, if you can't handle g4, you can't handle g4. I don't know about g4. Yeah, but yeah, bishop takes knight is very good. Don't be too stuck in with that notion that bishops are better than knights. Are bishops better than knights? Not really, right? There are conditions to which you can say that a bishop is better than a knight. So let's look at this. Let's do a little bit of chess lessons here. I think I've mentioned this quite a number of times before. It depends on the position on the board. So just to give a very funny ideology here, and if you guys also want to know how the pieces got their values, I can show you. So here the central squares are open, right? These 4 central squares, they are not locked in with pawns. So when the center is not locked in with pawns, we see that the bishops are better than the knights because the position is, first of all, very open. The bishops are long range pieces. They can move from one side of the board to another side of the board in like a second. If I want to go queen side, boom, I can go queen side and I'm still defending the king side. But whereas the knights can only defend one side of the board at any time. So when the position is opened like this, where the center, there's no pawns blocking the center, we see that the bishops have a 3.5 valuation. So we see the bishops have a 3.5 valuation when the position is opened. But when the position is closed, and those of you who like King's Indian positions, you would appreciate this pawn structure. Sorry. When the position is closed, here, I guess. Give me a second. Yeah. When the position is closed like this, right, the central squares are locked. When the central squares are locked like this, we say it's a closed game. And in this scenario, the knights are considered better than the bishops. And it's pretty obvious why. The knights can jump behind enemy lines. So in closed positions, we see that the knights have a 3.5 valuation, right? But what do you realize about most chess games? Every chess game ends up being an end game at a point. Every chess game ends up being an end game at a point where no matter where the pawns are scattered, sorry for putting them there, but no matter where the pawns are scattered, chess ends up being an end game. And what do you realize about most end game positions? They are open games. So if you look at it, in all times, you are going to have a bishop being more favored than a knight. That's basically the point. And to have the two bishops is key. So when you watch like Gotham Chess, Ginger GM, John Bartholomew, Agad Mator, they always say he has the double, the two bishops. He has the two bishops. That's the reason why, because of open games. That's basically why it's an advantage. At this stage, it's not an advantage. I mean, 1900 downwards, 2000 downwards, and I mean chess.com rating, 2000 downwards is not really a big deal to you. I am GM status is maybe a big deal to you, but bishop pair is not really a big deal at this stage. So yes, if you've heard about bishop pair, that whole talk was to explain why you should take with the the bishop. Yeah, so don't be stuck in your mind that bishop pair, bishop pair, bishop pair. I don't want to trade my bishop from my knight. That is wrong. Here your opponent has a very active knight which can cause you problems, so you trade off and keep your position safe. That is basically the moral of this story. Okay, and he does play g5, which his opponent. This thing is very conditional. Most people think it's aggressive, but it will shock you how unaggressive that move is. The question is, how do you attack? As white, how do you attack? Okay, we need our queen inside these squares, but you realize that, okay, fine, the queen can get here first and then get here. That's fine. That is fine. Then how else does the attack come in? You realize that it's very difficult for the attack to come in, unless of course maybe you add your pawns to it. You have to add a rook to it, so it's going to take you a lot of moves to get this attack rolling. That's the problem here. It's going to take you a lot of moves to get this attack rolling. In that time, your opponent is going to set up his defense and he will be just fine. So it's not always you go for that idea. Anyways, attacking the queen, but that's a slight error on. Is that an error? No, it's not an error. It's not an error. Okay, so he runs away. You bring the rook in. Exactly. I like what Thelma is doing here. So bringing in the defense, like how are you going? And you ended up blundering your queen as her opponent, right? This thing looks so attractive. Sacrificing the knight. My opponent has no pawns. The king is naked. I can easily attack. It will shock you how many times I've played this in real tournament games to get whooped 1,000 times before I learned my lesson. It's not as good as you think. It's not. Okay. Whenever you want to sacrifice a piece, always ask yourself, like, what happens next? How quick is my attack? You can study the games of Mikhail Tal. Actually, it was found out that most of Mikhail Tal's sacrifices went brilliant. When the engine came in, okay, most of the reasons why Mikhail Tal was successful is because people were scared of sacrifices. So when you see a sacrifice on the board, your heart starts palpitating and you don't calculate properly. Am I downplaying him in any way? No, I'm actually telling you that you should go and check out his sacrifices. He always had like an engine of pressure coming in after his sacrifice, but here there's no engine of pressure. Your attack whittles down into nothingness. That's my point. So if you can't see it, don't do it. I'm saying this as against white, but yeah. Okay, so that's it. Wow, I wonder when we'll get to the other games, but anyways, it's fine. Okay, so let's see. So here you finally win the queen. Oh, but why? Though? Okay, it makes perfect sense. I won't fault you for that. I just wish this bishop didn't exist, you know. I'm looking at this. If you aren't seeing, I just wish this bishop didn't exist though. I don't know. No, it doesn't work. I just wish this bishop didn't exist. But this move makes perfect sense to me. This move makes perfect sense to me. She needs to defend this. Now your opponent is coming in to attack. How do you resolve this? Yeah, I think you just attack the bishop. You attack the bishop and force your opponent, because if you attack the bishop, your opponent can't really play this move because you are going to take. And he takes yours and you are fine. You can easily defend this position. So I think that's what you should do here. Oh, okay, but... Okay, that's fine. So you just take this. Okay, no, you don't do that. That's bad. Yeah, you don't do that. That's bad. Sacrifice again. Sacrifice this. This is a blunder. You could go for that. Oh, you missed it. Okay, I mean, your opponent is going to defend it regardless. I mean, but it's still aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Takes. I'm still trying to force an attack here, but it's not working. I think your approach is fine. Yeah, just defending your weaknesses. Yeah, you don't even have to take there. Nice. Slowly but surely. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, the problem is, how do you break through? That's what she's looking for here. How do I break through? I feel like there's a breakthrough somewhere. So takes here. I feel the move is here. Okay. How about pushing here? Nah, it's very difficult to figure it out from here. What I mostly would look at is like bringing my bishop just here to defend everything. once my bishop gets here, this sacrifice looks more and more possible. But I get why you are leaving the bishop here to prevent your opponent from exiting. But I think at some point in time, you just accept that the bishop has to leave, and then you can play more good moves there. So what can we learn from Thelma's game? Like we said, you can break symmetry by playing like moves that imbalance the position. We mentioned that. The next thing is that yes, be very mindful of your trades. Okay, don't not all trades, not all fair trades are good trades, and not all good trades are fair trades. And also learn to trade your inactive pieces for your opponent's active pieces. If your opponent has a very strong piece on the board, don't be afraid to take it off the board. Actually, if you don't take it off the board, you are going to lose. So saying, just having the philosophy that bishops are better than knights, so I'm not going to trade my bishop for my knight, is a very wrong notion to have, and you usually end up in problems. So this is a very good move by Thelma. A very, very good move. Some people will not play it and be like, I don't want to lose my bishop. I'm serious when I say that. Some people would not want to play that move. And the next thing I want to mention is that if you are playing as white, you don't go for, it's not often you want to go for this idea. It's not often you want to go for this idea, like this knight sacrifice idea. It's not often. Like, it's as much as it looks pleasing to the eye, I can't stress how often I try this, you know. Okay. as you improve in chess, you learn to know which moment is right. Okay, so don't worry, just keep practicing. Vasantum versus Nikita. You know, I just came through most of these games and I realized that nobody was playing the London. I'm so not happy with you guys for not playing the London. I don't understand why nobody plays the London. You should play the London. Okay. Oh, so we have an English: c4, knight f6, knight c3, e5, g3, bishop to b4. Yeah. So when I play against the English, I play this. It was a game I saw Mike Discoursing play, and the game was very interesting. So I always play this. I've analyzed the game with an engine, so it's a very complex. The moves I play, I make are very complex and very annoying. So, whatever. So g3. If you want to learn positional chess, I think, yeah, if you want to learn positional chess, you should play the English. If you do want to learn positional chess, you should play the English. Yeah. So take exactly. I like this move. Yeah. So the move I was explaining right now, you want to go this way. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. So it supports the pawn push. Excellently placed here. It supports the pawn push, basically. Now this position resembles a Catalan, right? It supports the pawn push. Very nice. Sadly, I think here it still works, right? Because even if you go takes, no, it doesn't work here. Yeah, here chipping away at the center doesn't work. It makes your position very bad. So takes. Okay, that makes no sense. Why didn't white just take with the pawn? This is bad. So this is one of, so Emmanuel Strong, this is an example of a bad double pawn structure. This double pawn structure has no hope. It's very bad. Double isolated pawns, it's very bad. It might not be a problem now, but later in the end game it's going to become a problem. Like, it's bad. Like, it's very bad. You should take with the pawn here. I don't know what he was afraid of. I really don't know what he was afraid of. But anyways, takes, queen takes. Okay. So he says, you destroy my pawn structure, I destroy yours. So how about we just keep on destroying all the pawn structures? Now this is actually not going to be good for black. For white, sorry. Why is it not going to be good for white? You have very weak pawns. You have a very weak pawn structure, and you have a knight. Here I have a bishop. This is going to be very good for white. Anyways. Okay. Okay. Those are good moves. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, you either lose one of them. So what was the mistake here? Maybe you lose one. Yeah, your opponent dash gives you a pawn. You don't try to hold on to that pawn. You just defend here. Because you're up a pawn, you can't hold on to the 2 pawns and allow your opponent to get this pawn. You can still play this. I don't think there's any square your opponent can further attack you on, so you'll be fine. But to try and hold the pawn, you allow this, which is actually not even a big deal. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, the knight just goes back and you're fine. Okay, so this is fine. This is still an evenish game. But sadly, I still think black is slightly, black is slightly better. The main thing that black wants to do, in any chess game is to gain equality, and this is basically equality. So black is having a field day. Black is enjoying himself here. Black is enjoying himself here. Maybe you could try and compete with your opponent here, but I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, the engine doesn't even agree with me. So the next thing I was trying to say is that okay, that's fine. Okay, what wow, I like what black does here, gaining white does here, gaining the activity. But again, he's injuring his pawn structure. The reason why this game is still drawn, right? The reason why this game is still drawn, is still evenish like this, is because of the rooks. So I might be wrong, but let's go to board editor again. Sometimes this is how you study your positions. You think about the end game. So because the rooks are on the board, that's why it's saying that. But let's just do this. Let's take off all of these. Let's just take off all of these pieces and let's go to the analysis board again. And here I think the engine is going to say black is winning. I don't think it's a draw. Yeah, exactly the point here. So the only reason, so if you are white here, you want to avoid trading down. If you are black here, you would want to trade down, because looking at the pawn structure, your opponent can't hold. Do you get it? So thinking about the end game from here, it's also how you can improve yourself as a chess player. So here the engine is saying that it's drawn, but I believe that black has more chances than white, is what I believe. And I'm looking at it from the end game structure. And it's very possible to trade off everything to get into the end game. He defends. Okay. We are going to see some trades very soon. Further worsening his position. Bishop takes. Yes. Takes. Exactly. So you might say, oh, he won a pawn. It's not the same. It's not the same. Right? They've traded material. You're not late. You are not late at all. We are now on game 3 and more games just are being added. I'm getting the notifications. So you might think that, oh, he traded everything the same way. It's not the same. Every trade that is being made on this board brings black closer to victory. And you saw what we did. We looked at the end game. If there were no pieces on the board, who is having the advantage here? Black. Why? Simply because the pieces are isolated. They can't defend each other. So every trade helps black here. So if you are white, you don't want to trade. You see, this is perfect. So if you are losing a chess game, this is why. You might say, we both have 2 pieces on the board. And you are just trading down. That is where you are completely wrong. You are trading down, but you have not taken stock of the fact that your pieces are not well defensible. If everything leaves the board, you are the one losing. This is exactly what. So you'll be playing a chess game, everything is even, all of a sudden you are losing and you just don't get why. Material is even, everything is even, you go to the end game, you just don't get why. This is why. Take stock of everything. So right now you've learned to look at end games. Of course, these guys are going to fall. Secondly, this is the check scary. Yes, the check is very scary. Yeah, the check is very scary. The check is very scary. Yeah. So the next thing here is that the next thing I was trying to state is that now this is another end game thing. The bishops are of the same color. This cannot be a draw. If they're on opposite colors, it could be a draw, but they are of the same color. This cannot be a draw. So let's learn from Vasantum's technique. You like, okay, maybe it's not impressive to you, but Vasantum is putting all his pawns on dark squares. Vasantum is putting his pawns on dark squares. What does that mean? He leaves his opponent's pawns on light squares, which his bishop can capture, but his opponent cannot capture his bishops, his pawns. Like, this is clinical, surgical, everything in between. Sacrificing, that's fine, you can sacrifice. The more pieces come off the board, the better it is. The more pieces come off the board. Okay? Okay, that's a good move actually. Okay. Now the pawns are split. Kind of having a little bit of problem with the technique here. But he's fine. Because of the king's position and these 2 pawns, I'll still think black is better here. King takes, and now you bring your king closer. Yeah, and then that's it. So it's still fine. That's this beautiful technique here. Beautiful technique here. I felt he could have done something else, but this is beautiful technique. If you take, you lose the bishop. So king goes back. He immediately brings his king into the position. You could... No, you can't actually. You can't. Yeah, it's very difficult to prove any advantage here. Yeah, it doesn't work. If you play bishop takes, it doesn't work. Actually, if you play bishop takes, I think it's close to a draw. Maybe. No, I think it's still a win because your opponent cannot defend his 2 weaknesses. Yeah, I still think this is a win. So this is very nice. This is very nice technique here. This was very nice technique here by Vasantum. I clap for you once again. Okay, I've already seen a game by Ipire. Who else is here? Weird moves. Let me put it here so I don't forget who I've looked at and who I've not looked at. So weird moves, please. D4, D5. Oh, come on. What is this? Are you guys learning from Maxwell? Please don't learn from Maxwell. Learn from me. Learn from me, okay? Learn from me. I will teach you the ways of success. And the way of success is the London system. If you want to succeed in chess, the way is the London system. Why is it saying this? I think it's what I pressed. Oh, okay. It's not, because that's not a mistake, please. It's not a mistake. It's actually a fine move. C6. Knight C3. Oh yeah, and before I forget to mention, chess, you're going to lose a lot of games, right? If you are here and you're a beginner or you are stuck in chess, you are going to lose a lot of games, right? And you should be happy whenever you lose games because it's a learning experience for you. Whenever GM Vasantum, yes, you know, sometimes whenever people are playing chess, right? Let's go to tools, analysis board. I like using analysis board. If you're my student, you always get bored because I'll do this. Why do people often like to, let's say, play this? Sorry, this is not even actually the right way to go about it here. Why do people always, for some reason, play this? I don't even know where the land. That's what I get angry about. I don't understand where the landing players are. Why do people play this move, h3? Apart from the fact that I stopped the bishop here, it creates what we call loft. Loft means air, space for the king. So why do people often do that? They got back rank mated 100 times. So sometimes whenever you make a mistake or you lose a game in chess, it forces you to find out why you made a mistake and it forces you to fix it, especially if it's a mistake you fall for more than once. I always give this story. If she's watching this stream, I'm very sorry. I don't think she's even watching. I don't even think she's into chess anymore. When I was in University of Ghana, there was this tournament that was going to be played. I think King versus the University of Ghana versus Queen's College in Nigeria, I guess. And the University of Ghana players were training. So everybody had a training partner except this girl. She was part of the school team then. And I was like, can I what's the word? Can I train with you? And like there are many things she could have said, but her response to me was, no, if I play against you, you reduce my skill. That's like the worst kind of way to talk to someone. But eventually, Toby was there. Toby can confirm the story. You sent a game with the London. You are my brother. You are now my brother. So that was her response to me, that if she plays against me, I'll reduce her skill. I felt so insulted. But then I went to train. I made lots of mistakes. I think even when I got started into chess, I lost 100 games before I got my first win, or more than 100 games before I got my first win. I had the highest loss record in Achimota school. We used to keep record of wins versus losses, and every time I played, I had a high loss record. I had the highest loss record in Achimota school. But by the time I left Achimota school, I was the first and only student of my batch to beat the coach. I mean, he's not, but yeah. So you are the product of the many mistakes you make. If you are losing a lot of your chess games, don't worry, you will improve. Just don't give up. Don't be afraid to play rated games. Analyze your games. It's like correction in exam. You know that whenever you don't do correction after an IA or after an exam, you still pick that same wrong answer. Just make sure to find out the reason why you lost and make it a point to never make that mistake again, and you will improve. Okay? So losing is normal in chess. You lose 1,000 times before you start winning. I'm just telling you, let you know, so that you don't think that you are Magnus Carlsen and you have to win 1,000 times. No, most chess players have an average win record of 60%. It's very rare to get like an 80%. I think most chess players win rate is like 55%, 60%, and if you are something, yeah, so you'll be fine. Anyways, so back to the viewer again. That was just an aside. So we have this, which resembles, is it a Neo Grunfeld or a Slav? Or this is a semi-Slav. I really don't remember the names of these positions. But here black is playing a London. Black is not playing a London. Okay. I don't support this trade by black. Again, it follows that principle I was talking about. Oh, okay, no, black had to make the trade. Black had to make the trade. Why did black have to make the trade? Let's make a random move here. White takes, bishop takes, I think this, and then white is winning. That's what I think. Yeah, so he had to make the trade. Yeah. But the reason I don't like the trade is because the knight here is more active than this bishop here. But it's necessary to make this trade. Okay. Ooh, we have a break in the center. Another pawn push. Nice. Queen comes in. Very aggressive here by white, but I think it's a well-grounded decision. Castles. H4. He didn't provoke any weakness. Okay, that's fine. If you play bishop takes, of course, g6, so you keep on pushing the pawn, and now you've created weaknesses on your opponent's side of the board. So you have a very simple plan of rook here, and then queen takes. Is that what he goes for? He goes for knight. It's not bad. Rook here just adds more attackers to the position. You can go at it slow. Yeah, you can send 2 games. Thelma has about 3 games. Empire has about 2 games. Yeah, so you can send. Weird Moves I think has 2 games. So you can do that. So takes, queen comes in, takes. It's hard to say who is winning. I don't know. I felt like white was controlling the game. Then all of a sudden, the game became equal, or black was better. Yeah, I don't really like knight there. I think you should go this way, objectively speaking. Let's see if the engine supports my notion, or if the engine supports your notion better. Says knight e2. Oh, we are going like an Italian here. Knight e2 to g4. This is attacking this square, but that was just provoke, right? Okay, the provocation is what we are looking for. Yeah, but here, yeah, so I'm right. White was better, and all of a sudden it just seemed to dwindle for some reason. Yeah, okay, but white is still better. That's fine. Okay, so that's fine. Rook back, castles takes, then what's happening here? Okay, these trades don't make any sense to me. Okay, oh, that now white is better. Okay, that's fine. Takes, defense. Okay, so let's look at this. I still think white is winning here. The pawns, black has more pawns, but the fact that white has 2 roads is where the issue is going to be. Yeah, I think although the pawns are equal, I think black will have to sacrifice one of his pawns, because you can't like keep your bishop like this. You've turned your bishop into a pawn. You need your bishop to be active to do something with this position. Yes, I don't know. I think you have to sacrifice the pawn. Rook e8. Yeah, you would have to lose the pawn for the activity. Yeah, that's about what I can say. You want to the bishop and rook endgame. If the material is even, you want to what's the word? You want to keep your king close to your bishop close to your king. Otherwise, you would make a lot of mistakes. This is a very annoying endgame. This could actually be a draw, but I still think white is better here. Oh, and that's about it. Yeah, you can't win from here. Completely winning. You guys are very strong. Wow, BCA has very strong players. Okay, let me look at the other games, and then I will come back to your games. Dr. Drunky sent this. Let's see. Don't worry, the other games I haven't looked at, I will definitely look at them. As always, thank you guys for being around. I really appreciate the support. Again, feel free. Don't be shy in the chat. Don't be shy. I'm just kidding. Just seeing the numbers here is enough to let me know you guys are supporting me, so that's fine. But how many people are excited for the Mind Sports tournament or the Tema Classics? Which one are you guys playing? The Tema Classics? I don't think I'll play in the Tema Classics. Actually, I don't know the next time I ever play in a chess tournament. Okay, so here. So Dr. Dranky, he decides to give me, yes, a London game. Knight c6. Okay, e3, fine. f6. You surely don't know what you are getting into against the London. Bishop to d3 is the next move. Yes, it is possible. It is very much possible. But you would have to have a significant advantage of pawns. That's basically what I believe. You need to have a significant advantage of pawns. Yeah, so f6 you play bishop to d3. Take. Okay, you could have taken or not, but this is fine. Yeah, this is just, you just killed yourself 1,000 times. Trade and then you win the rook. So guys, look at how long I spent analyzing these four games. These were brilliant, interesting games. But the moment I come to a London system game, the game ends in 9 moves. Why won't you just play the London system? Why? Okay, let's look at the other game by the Mind Sport tournament. I think is next 2 weeks. But I think this Saturday is the Tema Classics. Yeah. Okay. Wait, have I looked at this game? No. Yeah, so okay, so this is a Catalan. Striking in the center. I'm going to do quick analysis now. The games are a lot, so I'm going to do quick analysis. Okay, so you can castle, develop your bishop. He attacks. Okay, I understand why he's attacking. Here, bishop comes in to defend. The position is fine. I think white is okay here. These double pawns will become a problem in the future. Castles and our knight takes, right? Yeah, knight takes, rook takes, trade off. Okay. Queen comes in, bishop comes in, check. And now you can't play pawn push still. But I can play pawn takes, pawn, knight takes. Pawn takes, pawn, knight takes, and you can bring your queen here. It's risky, but you can do it. Okay, threatening checkmate. London for the culture, yeah. London for the culture. So now bishop to d5, yeah. Knight back, take the knight for free. Queen takes your knight. Then you play bishop takes. Does your opponent have perpetual? I'm looking at bishop takes. Does your opponent have perpetual? That's the only way to resolve this. Or you can play this. And the question still remains, does your opponent have perpetual? Yeah, I I don't think your opponent doesn't have perpetual, so I think you can go for that. So what did you go for? Oh, you went for rook. Oh, why did I miss that? Why did I think that he had to go here first? No. Yeah, so rook, queen takes, blocks with the bishop. Oh, okay. Comes back with the rook. No. No. Takes here. Maybe you would want to go this way. Check where? Check here is not possible. Check here is possible. Then you can play this move. And then you are done. There's no more problems. Yeah, that should have been it. Not because it doesn't transpose. It's because a system is in chess is basically like a set of moves you can play against almost anything your opponent plays without problems, right? That's what the system is. So even though of course there are things you should know about the London system, I think you can pretty much get away with making the exact same moves for whatever your opponent plays without really thinking. That's why sometimes people say that the London system is for those who don't have a brain. That's what sometimes people say that. I'm just making random moves here, don't worry about it. But the point is that you can get this same structure regardless of what your opponent does. Of course, it's good to know the sublines of the London, right? The most efficient way to play the London against other like move orders. But the system is mainly because you can play it against everything your opponent plays. So we have the Collie system, we have the London system. I think that's about it. I don't know any other systems, to be frank. Okay, let me switch. You are the one under attack. So your opponent blundered big time. Yeah, so very nice comeback. Very nice comeback for you. That was a very nice comeback game. But you were in a lot of trouble here. Let me go back. So where exactly did the problem come in? Yeah, so you played a stone wall kind of formation here, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Okay, the break here in the center. So you trade everything. Takes. Knight comes in defending. Are you up a pawn? If you are up a pawn, I'm looking at this. It doesn't win you any trophies. It just prevents your opponent from castling. That's the main reason I'm looking at this. I don't think it's an advisable variation, but that's what I'm looking at. Disrupting my opponents. He plays this move to stop you. Of course, if he plays this, then you can just continue naturally, I guess. No, it's still bad. Yeah, I don't think you can do that. Can you? I want to evaluate this. Can you play that? Yeah, knight there is a conk move. Okay, you can play e5. So e5 pawn push. What am I missing? Oh, knight. Yes. So you can play e5. Yeah, you can play e5 in this position. Yeah, and if your opponent takes, your position is just completely fine. I wish I could explain how I'm seeing this, but just take it from the c5 thing I was talking about, chipping away at the central pawns. It's the exact same thing that I'm talking about here, but that's fine. Takes. Yeah. Maybe here you could have gone. I was thinking about something else. That's wrong. Okay. Yeah, but I like your comeback. Your opponent had every single chance to get back against you, but he couldn't really see it. Who else? Dr. Drunky. He sent one game. Okay, this is the second game. Then I'll look at Thelma's game, and we'll have to continue this maybe tomorrow. I don't usually stream on Wednesdays, but I'll finish it tomorrow because I don't want to not do what I've said I'll do. So I will do that. Give me a second. My brain is frying. Trust me. That's why my brain is frying. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's my water. Wait, another landing game d4, d5. Woo! Oh no, I've already seen this. Oh, is there another one? No, it's the same one. Is there another one? Is there another one? I want to see if there's another landing game. I want to see if there's another landing game. Yeah, I'm not playing music today. The music is actually just waiting for me, but I'm not playing it because of the analysis. So those of you who are here for the music, I'm very sorry. Well, okay, the same game again. Oh, it's not the same game. Yeah, it's the same game again. Okay, that's fine. So let's look at Thelma's game and then we are done. I hope you are learning something. That's the main aim for this. Okay, so there's another game by Thelma. She's playing as black. Again. That's this. Thelma sent me a game where she played as white. No. Let me look at a game where she played as white. That's better. Okay, d4, c5. Oh wow. I will check the first landing game. I'll look at it again. I should kindly share the flyer on the BCA page. I will. Or is there another flyer I'm not aware of? Yeah, so yeah, Thelma, you know theory. That's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Most people take because they think it's a free pawn. Actually, if you take, it's a bad move. Pushing is actually the best move. Nice. So you actually don't want to take. This is actually a bad move. This is actually a bad move. Thelma, this is actually a bad move. Why is it a bad move? You allow your opponent to play f, and this is a very strong central like domination for your opponent here. You don't want your opponent to have this. Yes, you are looking at this and you are scared. Trust me, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Not in the least. It's not a problem in the least. You are completely fine here. So be careful about that. Most often you just want to go after this. Go knight here. I myself always have this problem with this pawn, right? Of course they play a6 first. But mostly when I'm playing like this format, I always like to go f4, which is not like the best move to play, but I like to play because of how oppressive it can be. But yeah, you mostly want to slow play it in this position. I think you want to go knight here, bishop here. Is it straight? Bishop maneuver here, I can't remember. But anyways, I saw a game between Thompson and someone, and that's how I figured it out. Okay, so here bishop takes. Oh wait, no, this not. Okay. 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 Yeah, the thing is, you put pressure where you didn't need to put pressure. I think that's the best way to explain it. Here you put pressure where you didn't need to put pressure. You were over pressurizing. I think the pressure you had here was fine. Just like develop your other pieces and castle. You were too focused on pressuring your opponent here. I think the more sometimes your pressure can just self-destruct. I played a game against Toby. We normally have these training games when she has to play in the nationals. We just play some training games and then I play against her and then we try and figure out the position. She played a very passive opening and I kept on putting the pressure. And when the game ended, I was like, I almost had you, and she was like, no. That position is completely winning for me. And I was confused. So we normally annotate those games. I took the game, I went back home, I put in an engine, and the engine was like I was losing. Meanwhile, I had all the pressure. Sometimes that's the way it is. Overly applying pressure makes you susceptible to counterattack if you are not very careful. So sometimes you just want to make sure you have wow, you have the right amount of attackers versus your opponent's defenders. So you do that by building speed, building your activity. This is why I'm saying that my brain is shutting down. Yeah, yeah. Your opponent turned it on you real fast there, and and that's a blended knight. So you take the knight and then you take the other knight, and now you are winning. Yeah, this is completely winning. Well, takes. Okay, nice. I like the ideology here. When you are up in material, you trade down pieces. End game is going to be very good. As long as you can trade off these guys off the board, you'll be very fine with your end game. King goes in. I don't think that's where you want to go, but I think I understand him. That was a very tricky move. You play takes here, you are in trouble. That was very nice. That was actually very nice because now your king has to go back. Even if you try and defend the guy. Oh, okay, the queen defends, but you still have this move. So that's a very tricky one. That's a very tricky one. And from all the maneuvering that happens here, eventually we have a win. So I'm gonna. What you said? Have I missed it? Dr. Dranky. Have I? What have I missed? Oh, I now get it. It keeps. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the other landing game. Let's look at the other landing game. Let's do for the landing folk. Let's do for the landing folk. Study. Viewer game analysis. I'll do the rest next time. I might stream tomorrow morning, so just take notes. Before I teach my students tomorrow, I will definitely do that. Okay, so d4 c6. You know what I might do when my opponent plays c6? If you don't trust your end games, don't do that. I'm serious. I transpose into an exchange Caro-Kann, and I can play this position because, like I said, I played against Toby. There was a time Toby just wanted me to train against her on the advanced Caro-Kann. Sorry. But if you don't trust your end games, if you can't play drawn positions, if you can't play equal positions, simply put, don't play this. It resembles a Jobava, but trust me when I tell you, this position is boring. It's a draw. It's boring. There's no life in it. I don't trust it. I don't believe in it. I don't see any help in it. There's no health in it. There's no joy in it. You just want to hate yourself. Like, you just want to kill yourself for playing chess. Like, you are on move 3 and the game is dead draw. Unless, of course, your opponent doesn't know what to do. Right? This is a very boring, like... But this is what I do sometimes. If I'm playing against a child who likes playing blitz and aggressive chess, I'll just give you this position. You can see what the engine is not even saying 0.1. It's just 0. It's a draw. And I've played against very strong players, like 1900. I'm talking about chess.com, and we draw this, right? It's annoying, but yeah. if you just want to hate yourself, you play this. Anyways, against c6, I think you want to go this way. It's just 0. Like, it's just a draw. Okay, it's not this. There's a situation where you want to play. I think, yeah, okay, I don't remember. But anyways. Wow. Black trying to go aggressive. What is knight there? What does knight there do? I've never seen that move before. Your opponent has no idea what to do against the landing system, does he? He doesn't know. Because, yeah, e5, perfect. My engine is on, sorry. Then you push again. Knight goes back. Like, this is just... I can imagine the face you were having. I can imagine. Like, whenever I'm playing against someone who doesn't know what the landing is about, the person just making random moves, I just have this face. Like, this guy doesn't know how lost he is. Like, he doesn't know that he's about to lose. In fact, he doesn't know he's lost. We don't even have to play the game. He's just lost. Yeah. Okay. Is that going to be a sacrifice to open up the king side? Like, I was looking at something funny. I'm looking at something along these lines. You even have this interesting, after takes here, let's say takes here, you have this interesting here kind of move if you want to play it. But yeah, when I see a landing system, my tactics come alive. Anyways, oh, he also went for the sacrifice. Nice. Takes. Threaten. Can we this? Yeah, we can distract by playing knight to f6, right? I was thinking knight to f6 because if you play this, I take here and I'm coming this way. King here doesn't make any sense because I take here. So I was thinking that, but anyway, that's fine. Always stop. Yeah, he plays it eventually. Yeah, even that's better than what I was suggesting. Takes. Yeah, like why is it anybody just playing the London? Like, look at how effortless that was. The moment your opponent doesn't know what the hell he's doing, he's just messed up. Like he's messed up. Jobava landed. You play this, your opponent plays this. It's a normal game. There's nothing big happening in this game. You go e6. Let's say you go this way. You play this, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna play e6." This is literally lost. This is literally bad. Like, this is a very dominant position. I didn't play it well though. That's why it's not giving such a big score. So let's say I think it's like this, then like this, then like this, then like this. What's this? Like this, like this, like this, and then like this, and then you simply go this way. And then this. I mean, they do so many things. Oh, people are sending me games. How long have I been streaming for now? Okay. How many games have I looked at? I've looked at 1, I've looked at 2, I've looked at 3, I've looked at 4, I've looked at 5, I've looked at 6, I've looked at 7, and I've looked at this, and then this. Oh, okay, so you're just left with this game. Let me make a new chapter. Let me make it. Well, why can't I? No, where? Oh, I've forgotten where it is. Let's just do this. Okay, so let's create this chapter and let's put this chapter here. So I know that I'm done with these. Wow, we've actually done a lot. How many games is that? That's what, 9 games. We looked at 9 games. So I'll just let me see Sion's game, then I'll end it there. Sion just sent me a message. It's a French defense. Okay, he has the time on it. Let me just copy everything. Let me just look at Sion's game, and then I will end off the stream. So Ctrl V, create. Oh, it didn't do it. Shouldn't there be a link attached to it? No, there isn't. Okay, let's just look at this. The time, I'll just take off the time. Okay, fine. Now this is Sion's game. So let me just write Sion. Let me push it up here. Okay, good. So let's look at Sion's game and then we are done. Okay. D4, D5, Bishop F4. Woo! Who is white? Let me check again. What game is this? Okay, Sion is playing as black. Okay, so Sion is showing us how he defeated the London system. Guys, this does not happen. You sent 2 games. Okay. Alfatsen Kobna or Kobna. Someone is showing us how he defeated the London system. Let's see how he defeated the London system. But yes, this is what, whenever you want to play, just play this, okay? Whenever your opponent plays the London system, I think this is the best way to go. I've been playing this and with much success. The point is you are gaining control over the center. Anyways, if your opponent does allow it, there's this thing in the London system you should be very careful about if you are playing as white. Here, I think this, and let's say queen here. This is the position. This is the position, right? This thing, you don't want it. You don't want it as white. Of course, I've not played it in the best way, because in this position, whoever captures the queen is the one who's winning. Is the one who's losing. Sorry, because you open up the file. That's basically what I know. And if you think about it, you open up a file on the queen side where you are very active on. So, I really wish I can remember the actual moves, but yeah, you should be very careful about this. Okay, something you're very careful about. You don't want, most often I think what you should be careful about it the moment your opponent plays let's say here, let's say bishop here, c6, queen here, then you play pawn push. This is one of the things you have to be very scared of, because you can't run away with your queen. You have to take, and this is very good for black. So but normally what happens is that I've forgotten the scenario. There's a scenario where you want to do this, but I think when you play this and your opponent plays bishop as well, then you play c6, so that the same thing happens, except when this happens, e6, when this happens, you go here, and when they come here and you play pawn push, you are the one who has this. So after takes, you are the one who is winning. Please don't get confused. I'm really trying to explain it, but that's literally, like, that's basically it. Whoever trades is the one who's losing, but you're very aware of those ideas when you are playing the London system. So that's why c5, the engine always advises c5. Okay, he goes straight for a fried liver. This is similar to Jubava, and this is what you want. So now you want to play this move. Hold the position, because your opponent might try like g6 and you have to come back, and that's fine. I think Levi Rosman has played again. I think he played a game against Tanya Adewumi or something like that, and this is exactly the line he played. But the difference was that I think when he played, I really don't remember, but his point was that his opponent's knight could not come here or something like that. But this is fine. Oh, that's exactly what you played. Nice. Yeah, so this is exactly the point. And you really hamper your opponent's knight's development. Look at how the knight had to come here just to get developed. It's fine. Bob Fischer was noted for these type of making moves to provoke the opponent to make a move that will make his piece slightly worse. That's how Bob Fischer was. He was a genius, like something. Okay, knight. h5. No. Okay. What? What a... What? What was White doing? I mean, White played a fine game, but of course, I still give this position to Black. The thing here is, I think you might be worried about this move, but you shouldn't be. Like, you're worried about a5, but you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Yeah. And your opponent keeps trading. Like, and I like what you're doing here. So I have a lesson I normally teach my students. Let me just give you this. I have a lesson I teach my students. And it's on middle game planning. And there are simple plans in chess that you can adopt, right? One of the things I like to tell my students is that when you see 1 + 1, what are you supposed to do? And of course the answer is add. But why do you think that you have to add? And the answer is simple. You saw the plus sign, right? So whenever you see a plus sign, you know that the solution is to do what? To add. It's the same thing in chess. There are signs and symbols in chess that we use to bring out middle game plans, and one of the things I give them is pawn breaks, right? A pawn break is simply offering a pawn to be captured. So when we talk about pawn break, when we talk about pawn break, what you are doing is that you are offering a pawn to be captured to open up diagonals or files, right? And one of the ways you break pawn break in the center is when you realize that your opponent's king is stuck in the center, or your opponent is refusing to castle. When you realize that, and that you can see that your opponent is not going to plan to castle in the next 3 moves or 5 moves, you can initiate plan, break open the center. And that's what I'm saying here. I really do love what he does here. Even though, of course, after the bad queen trade from his opponent, he was already winning. I like what he did here. That's Xiao. I like what Xiao did here in the sense that after everything, you realize here that the king is stuck in the center. Okay, there's no way the king is going to castle anytime soon. So what does he initiate? Plan pawn break in the center. So you can see it here, offering a pawn to be captured. So there's a pawn break. If his opponent doesn't capture, let's say he plays this, we are simply going to play takes. And if takes, it doesn't really matter. The point is we have opened up the file for an attack. So this is just something that you should take note of. So I really like the technique he used there. Despite the fact that he was already winning, I still appreciate the technique and the class he showed here. My opponent's king is the center. That's my plus sign. I just saw my 1+1. Plus says I should add. So how did I add? I played e5. E5 to break open the center. Now that the center is open, I can make a lot of funny plays. For example, I can castle here, put my rook here, and then play queen takes, of course, or knight takes, of course. That is how you should think in chess. What are the symbols? What are the signs? What should I look for in a position? And when you begin to notice these signs, you know what to do. So you saw me even talking about the London system. If this and you play this and your opponent comes in here, you can go c5. The moment you see pawn bishop c5, that's why even the reverse is the same. So you do this and your opponent comes in this way. What do? C5. It's a sign. You know the sign. I see this, I go for it, right? Of course, there are other things you can go for. You don't have to play robotically. You can switch things up. Of course, if you play the same thing too many times, sometimes maybe it's very easy for your opponents to play something against you. But I think there's a saying in chess that I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 openings. I fear the man who has played the same opening 1,000 times. So I don't know who made that statement. So that is it. Try to begin looking for the signs of chess position. If you have a coach, your coach will show you. If you don't have a coach, you have to rely on your analysis. I embarked on an exercise just recently. I went to look through all my games. I started just looking at only my white games, and I began to notice trends of mistakes that I was making. Right, I always seem to make the same mistake. So through your analysis, you notice that okay, I keep making mistakes in this specific opening that my opponent plays. So what do I do? The engine can help you there. That is how you can improve. I'm shaking my camera once again. So guys, I have fully enjoyed your presence here today. I am just tired. I'm just tired. My brain is frying and I'm not making the right calls for some of the moves. But thank you guys so much for being around. This is the schedule for the week. I streamed yesterday, ELO raising stream. I was just raising my ELO on chess.com. Today we analyzed the viewer games. Since I'm not done, I might continue the stream tomorrow in the morning. I'm not so sure. Don't quote me on that. Don't take my word for it. Okay, I might just stick to the same schedule, but rather than chess 960 on Saturday evening, I would do the game analysis. But like I said, on Saturday, I think, unless of course I'm wrong, on Saturday there's going to be the Tema Classics. There's going to be a Tema Classics, very high. I think I've played the Tema Classics once. I think. I really don't remember. Yeah, but it's a very high skill tournament, very cool prizes. If you want some OTB experience, it's a good place to go to. Send your students there. I mean, losses are part of chess. I've said it already. Losses are part of chess. I lost like 100 games before I won my first chess game, right? So don't be afraid to lose. Sometimes even the tournament pressure helps improve you. as a chess player. You begin to gain more confidence. You begin to learn to handle pressure, which is something you always face in the position. Like when you're winning a game against a top player and then everybody's gathering around your board. Yeah, that kind of pressure. Because the moment you make a bad move, then you hear somebody say, I remember I played a game against, was it something? I played a game against somebody and I had this very aggressive position against the person. I made an exchange sacrifice with the rook for my opponent's knight because the knight was defending some key squares and I needed to attack his position. So I did that and I had a very aggressive position. My opponent was under pressure. Then after a few moves, I made one move, and then somebody was like, "If you tell it," I was like, "Why did you just kill all my? You just killed all my vim." Like at that point, I knew I was losing, and I could tell. I looked at my opponent. This is how my opponent was sitting down on the board for some time. He was like this. The moment I made that move, he did this, and I knew I was lost. Anyways. As always, thank you guys so much. I'll continue this. I really enjoyed myself. I'll continue this another time. And I'll see you guys. Have a great day. Peace.